Now we're going to draw this spanner, and there's quite a few good techniques that we can observe from doing this drawing. So let's start. What we'll do is start by doing the jaw here, and then we'll use some arcs, then we'll use some filters to draw the shank, and then we'll use fillet to drop in these curves. So first of all, we'll just start anywhere drawing a line, and I'll just make sure that my polar tracking is on and that it's set to 30-degree increment, because that'll make it really easy to do. I can just use point and shoot. We know that the length of those sides on the jaw are 15, so I can use the preset angle, (15) for each one of these, and I'm going to draw one more line down the middle, which is just a construction line that I'll need for later on. Now, next thing is to draw some arcs. So we've got an arc coming round from this start point, center point of here. We know that it's 15, and it will stop vertically down. Okay, so now to draw the arcs. Up here on arc, look at our options. We know a center point, we know a start point, and we do know an end point, or we can work out an end point. Let's have a go at that. It's asking for a start point. Here's the start, and we're going in an anti-clockwise direction. We can use our polar tracking to give us the end point of the vertical point below our start point, our center point. Right, so that's a 15. Now we need to do another arc, and we can use the same again, start, center, end. Our start point is where we finished the other one. Our center is the center of that construction line, and that's why I drew that line in there. And the end point, we don't really care at this point, because we're going to use a fillet to trim that off in the finish, so I'll just go somewhere there. Now the next one's a little bit trickier, because we want it to actually go in a clockwise direction, and arcs will normally draw in an anti-clockwise direction. So the way to do that is to use an angle, start center angle. We know the start point, we know the center point, and it wants to go in an anti-clockwise direction. So what I'm going to do is put in an angle, but I'll put in a negative angle, let's say -150, which will throw it around into a clockwise direction. Now the shank. We can use filters, which we were using before, or we can use our technique of acquiring points. So what I'm going to do is start in here, and then we'll come out. We'll just have a look at the diagram here, because we can see the total length is 185. I can just draw half of this thing. So I'm going to go half of 185, which is 92.5. Okay, so back to our drawing, 92.5. I'll just acquire this point up here, because the top of the shank is in line with that point. Just hover for a second. Hopefully that gives me a tracer line. It's not cooperating. Okay, so this is a case where we might want to use our filters to grab the Y value of that. So I'll go Shift right button, point filters, Y value of that point there. And Shift right button, point filters, the X value of that point. And that should give me that position. Close the drawing, escape. Now we have to put in these fillets. They're a radius of 50. So fillet, set our radius to 50, and repeat up the top, same radius of 50. Okay, we're nearly finished. I'll delete that construction line. Now we'll produce the other side by doing an array. Let's have a look at the drawing again. So it's just it's not actually a mirror image, it's actually flipped. We could do it with two mirrors. We could mirror about the vertical axis and then about the horizontal, but that's two actions. Better way is to do it with an array. So let's go to a polar array. The objects to array are those. I've excluded this construction line that we have here. Select the objects, and the center point is going to be the midpoint of that line. We want two of them, and there it is, finished. Close the array, delete our construction line, and we're done.